Hi, everyone. This is Christina Marisi. I'm the Environmental Education Planner at the Wissahickon Environmental Center, part of Philadelphia Parks and Recreation. We have been getting a lot of questions about the spotted lanternfly and the nymphs, which have just exploded throughout the area this year. We've actually been dealing with the spotted lanternfly for about 4 seasons now in the Wissahickon. One season it was just the adults. Another season it was tons of eggs, and another season we started seeing these nymphs, and this season now they are everywhere. So just a very quick video kind of on 2 methods as to how we started taking care of them. So first, the spotted lanternfly, you're going to see them right now. It is a very destructive, invasive insect, and it's currently in its first and second instar stages, and we call them nymphs. And they can be spotted everywhere. So in my yard, on the street, in the forest, meadow, woods, down by the creek, it's everywhere. So, and you probably are seeing these at home already. So they're just tiny black leaf hoppers with white spots. And they are leaf hoppers, so they are true bugs, and they have a mouthpiece that can pierce and suck, and they suck the sap from plants and trees. And when they process this sap through their body, it actually gets excreted as a more condensed sugary substance called honeydew. So the photosynthesis that the plants are doing to create their own food and grow, once their leaves are covered with this honeydew, it blocks the ability to do that process. And then it also enables what is called a sooty mold to grow. So later in the summer, as you're hiking and maybe even in your neighborhood, you might notice a lot of plants with just black mold growing on the leaves. And if you look up, most likely there's going to be lanternflies up ahead. And as they drop their honeydew, it makes just this perfect environment for the mold to grow. And inevitably it's going to kill the plants that it's on. So not only is the massive amount of lanternflies that are sucking sap from trees and plants going to kill the plant, also this mold situation will too. So spotted lanternflies are an issue, especially in Pennsylvania, because they love grape and hop vines, fruit trees, maples, as well as many other plants. So with the grape and the hop being our wine and beer industry, fruit trees as well, we're a huge producer of apples, that it's going to have a huge impact on our agricultural system and the economics in Pennsylvania as they continue to spread and destroy these crops. So last summer was, I think, this first summer we saw a lot of nymphs. And we tried to catch them in bags of hand sanitizer, and we realized they were really fast. So we tried shaking them on in, dipping them in, catching them, even squishing them. It was very difficult. So this is Barbara here from summer camp, and she really stuck with it. And as you can see, there's still not many in the bag. So this summer we wanted to figure out a more efficient system. So the first thing we tried was sprays. So we made a vinegar water solution, which is often used to repel and kill bugs. And I also took a rubbing alcohol that we just used as a disinfectant at the treehouse. And what we basically did was just try and just spray the nymphs. Okay, so the spray pretty much cause them to hop. Both sprays cause them to hop But we were pretty much unable to determine if it killed them later, because it didn't look like it was killing them right away. So you can see them bouncing around. The one on the leaf right here, it's hanging on pretty good, but still moving, even though I believe this was the alcohol, even though the alcohol is completely covering it. And as they pop and bounce, they're basically getting away. So it's not as efficient as we were hoping. So because we couldn't figure out the spray, nor could we get a lot of them at once, because once the little droplets hit, everybody's sprung. So another way that we tried was just a container of soapy water. And as you can see, Trish, our specialist, already had more lanternflies in her jar than I was able to get with the spray in the same amount of time. So just basically, and this was through research, Penn State Extension, and some colleagues have tried this, just dipping the nymphs into the water from the vines or wherever they're at, or tapping, we were tapping leaves and they were falling in. And surprisingly, they don't really hop, even though we're moving them. And they dip right in and they get trapped in the water. And then you can pretty much get a bunch at once, and you can definitely see that they're dead. You know that they're in there, and they won't really be an issue. So with that, we are going to start seeing the lanternflies that we know, the nymphs that we see, the black and white. We're going to see them start turning red, or they're going to go through another instar molt and they're going to come out red. So these are still lanternflies. It might look different. You might be confused, because they're really weird when you see them, but still small, and they still need to be dunked and squished. So as they get bigger, they get a little bit easier to kind of just smash. But still, the method of the dipping into the soapy water, and as you see the diameter here, this is just like a freezer or takeout container, the larger that is. So unlike the bags, that's wider and it's steady. So we were able to just dip and work and get them in. So after they go through their next instar and they're red, in the late summer, they're going to become adults. So they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, but they are really destructive. So with that, we still need to smash. And later in the summer, you know, we had this out last summer. It worked really well. Everyone enjoyed picking up their fly swatters, going out, hitting them, and dropping the fly swatter back off for others to use. So we'll put that out again this year. But when you see the adults, they're bigger, they're going to start getting slower, so they're much easier to just kind of take the fly swatters and hit, and less easy to get with the soapy water, although we'll give that a try as well. Sometimes we collect them, so we weren't sure sometimes if they died all the way. We just started collecting them. We did this early on because we kind of wanted to know how many we were able to catch or kill. And then last year it was just hundreds. So sometimes we would collect them, sometimes we won't. This is probably a photo from summer camp where the kids went out and their teams had to see how many they could get. So after they become adults, and they do become much more destructive then too, because they're just bigger, they're processing more food, and they're still excreting the honeydew everywhere, and then they're going to mate and they're going to lay their eggs. So in pretty much from late fall to spring, we're just trying to find and scrape eggs. And again, I think we were able to count something like nearly 100 one year, And then last year it was hundreds of them. So we lost count, but I think we did make a good dent in the population. So these egg masses here have 30 to 50 small kernel Rice crispy looking eggs in there. And then they're covered with this like putty or I don't even know what it is, but it covers it, and it will eventually, so this is early and then this is late. This was spring when I found this in my garden. So you see it starts to dry and crack and it gets a better camouflage. So what we did in the past is that we would use this special card we got from Penn State Extension, but you can use any card, anything that's going to scrape, and we would scrape them into these bags. Last year we also used, I guess they were soda bottles, and we would just scrape up and the eggs would fall in. So in my garden, I just randomly found this. And another method, because we're not sure if they pop off and fall, if they're still viable, is to just come through and smash them. So this is actually really easy if you're just hiking in the woods and you see them and you don't have a bag of alcohol or anything with you. Just roll a stick up it and just smash them, and then it's that many less that are going to hatch, even if a couple get away from you. So that is it right now for the nymph. We will have videos to follow as the nymphs go into their third instar, and definitely adults and eggs. So my name is Christina Marisi. I'm the Environmental Education Planner. Trish Freese, our Environmental Education Specialist, she was the one who was able to catch them all as the nymph dipper into the soap. The photo you saw was Barbara, was one of our treehouse campers, and of course spotted lanternfly as itself, the nymph, first and second star nymphs, and the adult. So there's a lot of resources on spotted lanternfly now as research continues. Penn State Extension is I would say the best resource for the most amount of content: video, articles, photos, anything you need. We have every county has their own extension agents too, so we can very locally ask questions. Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture is another great one. This Combating Spotted Lanternfly video, this video is about 2 hours, but it has a lot of good new information. And then Ending the Anguish of the Spotted Lanternfly Infestation, this was a video, kind of like a webinar that I'd watched with Wagner Institute. So definitely a good one to look up. And then just in the general, this is from the Department of Ag, but just in general Googling of lanternfly, there's tons of information. And I found this activity book, and it's essentially a coloring activity book for kids about the lanternfly. So we do have some of those pages here when we were able to have kids in the house. And when we do again, we'll have them back out. But anyway, so New York is another huge wine state. So, I mean, they have research because they are going to be just as negatively impacted as Pennsylvania. So it's worth to just kind of connect with, whether you're looking up it on the internet, other gardeners, other environmental centers, arboretums. If you need more information, we're all battling this. So we can give you whatever information you need. And of course, you're always welcome to connect with us here. Right now, we are closed, and we're not sure when the city will open us again, but definitely you can call because we will be working. If you hike the trails are open. If you stop by, you see us. We'll be working in the orchard a lot now, which has plenty of spotted lanternflies back there. You can email us at wec@phila.gov. Ask us any questions you want about anything, not even just the spotted lanternfly. You can talk about Wissahickon, nature, whatever. And then just if you want to connect with us through social media. We have tons of pictures and videos, and certainly tag us in yours too, so we can see what you're up to. All right, so until the next adventure, I will see you, and we'll talk about the 4th Instar and the adults in the next edition. Have a good day.